Hello everybody, welcome to the Dose of Common Sense for June the 25th, 2017. Welcome to it. Surprise! We do one more before the big launch. And we got a few things to talk about, not a whole lot. So, to start with, we have, oh yes, so, Tidal and Sprint. I don't know what to make of that particular pair just yet. Way too early to tell. But that hasn't seemed to stop Sprint from promoting it big time. To the point of selective locations are going to have an exclusive launch party for Jay-Z's new album, 444. Now, for those of you Jay-Z fans who are subscribed to Tidal, this might be a good thing for you. For the rest of us who are not going to pay $19.99 or, sign up with Sprint just to get the Tidal service, wait and see, I guess. Basically, I've got Google Play Music, I've got Stitcher, of course I've used Spreaker, so my need for this is going to be minimal. But if you're a Jay-Z fan and you're a subscriber to Sprint and you've actually taken advantage of this offer, maybe you'll be interested in it. So, for those of you who are, it's going to be June 30th. And let's see if we can find out the locations of this. Chicago, DC, Miami, of course Miami, and a few others. Can't get all the information because for some reason it's not completely loading the page. But if you want to go to Sprint.com, I'm sure you can pull the information up off the website. And if you are not subscribed to Spectrum, you'll have an easier time than me. Also, just a heads up, I've been talking about the OnePlus 5 for a couple of days now. And while this is an awesome phone, yes, I've actually held it in hand. Too bad I wasn't the one to get it. I'm really want to cry on that one. Okay, so there it is. So, if you see the OnePlus 5 available on Amazon, don't buy it. Here's why. The OnePlus 5 is supposed to go for, I believe, $499 in the US, and it's supposed to launch in about 48 hours as of this broadcast, which is 3:25 in the morning. OnePlus just put out a message, as well as Carl Pei of OnePlus, and they are saying that the launch of the device is in fact on June 27th, which is great. I can't wait to see what's going to happen when it hits the public. I know their marketing will be a lot better than LG's. I digress. Sorry, LG, because who knows, you may have actually learned a lesson or two from the last launcher or so. But anyway, to make a long story short, if you get the OnePlus 5, do not get it on Amazon before the launch date. Here's why. The phone in its 64 gigabyte configuration goes for $499. They're selling it on Amazon for, wait for it, $700 plus. Now, I'm going to take a wild guess, and I'm going to say that this is going to be a third-party transaction. I'm also going to take a wild guess that the United States warranty is not included in this. So, Caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. Do so at your own peril. And don't go crying to anybody when something screws up. Probably the delivery. If I'm going to order a phone, I'm going to order it through Source. I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to order it through third-party transactions or anything like that. Unless, of course, I can see the phone before I buy it. So, those of us who have Amazon, those of us who even have Amazon Prime, if you see the OnePlus 5 before the 27th of June, do not touch this thing with a 10-mile pole. You will regret it. Big time. And I really don't want you to, I don't want you to get screwed here, so just be careful of that. Also, for us iPhone users, and yeah, that was not a good segue, sorry. But here we go. Have you noticed that when you're loading up apps and you're using your applications on your iPhone, those of you with 16 gigs, I'm really not showing that much sympathy for, because you went and bought the phone with 16 gigs. Unless, of course, you had to buy the iPhone 6 with 16 gigs, then I perfectly understand. But anyway, these apps are getting bigger. And let me explain what I'm talking about here. So I have quite a bit of games on my phone. I have Real Racing 3. I have all the Need for Speed games that I can pretty much load onto the phone. No Limits I've got on the phone. For some reason, though, it will not play Most Wanted because, wait for it, no more support. Great. Anywho, these applications run anywhere from 1 to 2.5 gigs. Now, the operating system itself takes about 5, on some occasions, perhaps more. I now know why they are making phones with bigger capacities. And I now know why Apple, the lowest they will go anymore, is a 32 gig. And that's for the simple fact that if you don't go with 32 gigs on an iPhone, you're not going to have anything on the phone other than the operating systems, maybe your songs and photos, and maybe some other important information, because you're not going to be able to have any applications. So, if you go out and you're going to get a phone, whether it be iPhone or Android, just be careful of the size of the storage, because you're going to probably, if you get a 16 gig, I want to ask you why, and then I want to give you a hug and say I'm sorry. And then, anybody else you tell is probably going to do this. I'm sorry, they are. So, beware. But if you get a 32 gigabyte, and I used to not even think about this until recently. If you get a 32 gigabyte iPhone, be prepared. You're going to have to make choices on what apps you're going to have on the phone sooner or later. It's just the way it is. My advice, if you're going to get a phone these days, if you're going to get an iPhone anyway, get a 64 gig, or otherwise just forget it. And if you're going to get an Android phone, if you're going to get 32 gigs, fine. The reason being is because some of the apps on Google Play don't have that much, and you can usually put the data on an SD card, thankfully. Thank God, after Android 6. But if you're having an iPhone, like I said, minimum you might want to get is a 64, because anything below that, and you're going to be screwed. So, once again, let the buyer beware. Now, I have also heard from sources that the Pixel 2 device specifications have reportedly leaked. And then I went ahead and checked Android Authority, and that's pretty much confirmed. But here's the deal. It sounds like that the Pixel 2, or at least the Pixel 2 5-inch, is pretty much going to have the specs, other than the Snapdragon 835, it's pretty much going to have the specs that it had last year. So, why, and depending on who you ask, leaks are quite a bit. Leaks don't really mean much to me personally, other than the benefit of, hey, I know what the product is before it comes out. But there are a lot of us that, let's just say, specs mean the world and leaks mean the world. And if you want to ask anybody who knows just exactly what leaks are all about, ask Evan Blass. He's have leaks on Twitter. Follow him. I do. But, leaks mean something to everybody. But, when it comes to the Pixel devices and when it comes to the iPhone devices, I almost don't believe the value of the leaks until it gets a little closer to the announce, or it's from a reliable source. And when it comes from EvLeaks, it's going to be a pretty reliable source. I would love to look into his crystal ball and find out what sources he's got. Because trust me, I don't think anybody would. Yeah. Words are hard, man. I don't think that anybody is going to be able to afford his sources or his ways. But he's developed a reputation as one hell of a reporter, one hell of an editor when he was working for Pocket Now, and he's a hell of a guy personally. So that's about the only leak source that I pretty much pay attention to. Anything after that, I'll take it with a grain of salt. Although HTC has a habit of leaking stuff before it even shows up on the horizon, and they'll do it almost 3 months out. That way, by the time the phone's announced, everybody knows what it is. I kind of wish they did it when it came to the U11, though, because that way we could have at least warned everybody that, hey, this phone may not look as attractive as you think it's going to be. It will take all the skin oil you can give it, and it will also be basically a $599 roll of Charmin. You can squeeze it. Okay, that doesn't mean a whole lot to me. That's probably the world's biggest, and I don't know, this is debatable, worst gimmick. If you're going to have a phone and you're going to put a gimmick behind it, do it like you did with the V series, or LG did with the V series. Put a phone out that's got a camera from hell, has got the microphone set that you would die for. And then if you're LG, you might want to actually back it up with a marketing campaign, because this is what LG has literally done for the last 2 major V series announcements. They've made a big splash at IFA, or a big splash at wherever they did the announcement, and then you heard this for 3 months. Crickets. We didn't hear anything. And those that did get review units weren't able to report anything. So by the time it came to launch, nobody cared. OEMs need to start producing a marketing campaign way ahead of time. I hate to say it, take Samsung as your lead. I mean, heck, they named an airport terminal after, it was like Samsung terminal or something like that. It was a terminal over at Heathrow. And I can't remember what it was for I think it was for the S6, come to think of it. I bet they wish they didn't. I bet they wish they're probably glad they weren't ready to do all that stuff with the Note just yet. Speaking of the Note, Samsung, I don't know what you're doing here, but here is the issue. You are going to announce and or launch the Galaxy Note 8 around IFA. So please tell me, from one friend to another, or from, I don't know, I'm going to get the Samsung fanboy, so I might as well just say it, from one Samsung fanboy to the company itself. What in the name of hell have you all decided to release a refurbished version of the Note 7 and you're going to call it the Note FE? Now, here's my question to you. What in the hell does FE mean? If you ask me, well, let's see. If you ask me on the professional side, I would probably say it's going to be the Galaxy Note Fan Edition, even though it's probably going to launch less than 60 days before this phone is available to the public. Great. Awesome. But if you're going to ask me, and if I'm not doing this on professional terms, and if I was in a regular smart-looking mood, which is 90% of the time, it's going to be the Galaxy Note Fan Edition. Hi, Patchy. There's my cat. She's making an appearance. So, you know, if anybody happens to be interested in the Galaxy Note F Everyone Edition, feel free, and I will let you know more as I get it. And she will too. So, and I'm hearing reports now of, depending on what application that you download from Google, they're actually thinking about a Google fidget spinner Easter egg. Dear God, let me just have this conversation because I need to, and even though nobody's going to care, I've got to get this off my chest. If anybody wants a fidget spinner, go to 7-Eleven, pay $8.99 and get one, or go to Amazon and get one. Amazon has much better fidget spinners than 7-Eleven ever will. For God's sake, Google, I've seen enough fidget spinners in this world. I've seen them on YouTube. You can make it from galenium or whatever. But don't make a fidget spinner Easter egg. This is not going to get any use. It's going to be something that no one's going to want to find. Just an opinion. But if your opinion happens to be different, by all means, tweet me at TechFiles, TEKFILES, or give me an email at emodlin, that's EMODLIN at gmail.com. And yes, I still have that mailbox address. We are about ready to get a domain that fits. Looks like we're about to finally close that deal. Thank God. So, you would not know how much trouble it is to actually get a domain that has something to do with your handle on Twitter. Go figure. So, I know, right, Patchy? So, let me ask you again, or for the first time, have you ever went on social media, and I know this is true in the case of a couple, have you ever went on social media, let's say Twitter or Instagram, and have you ever picked a handle that turned out it wasn't who you were at all? And I know of one for a fact, but they fixed theirs. Or no, excuse me, they made another one that fit their branding better. What was yours, Patchy? Oh, Patchy don't have a Twitter handle. That's right, she's a cat. So it's Litter. That's what it is. That's the new application, Litter. So, but anyhow, if you have gotten a Twitter handle that you have regretted, or if you got a Facebook handle that you regretted, or even if you did a WordPress blog that you regretted. I actually did. When I first got into the blogging business, I did it as a joke, and I don't know, it went away because that was nothing what I was about. And then I suddenly have the idea to do it again. But maybe I ought to get feedback from you for it. So here's my question. The handle was Idiot of the Day, and this would basically be elevating the one person in, whether it be tech, whether it be politics, and this, at the time I did this, I was a big big political junkie, and it's amazing how far you've gotten away from that over time. I mean, I don't even care about politics anymore, but this handle was pretty much, it was Idiot of the Day, and it was basically reflecting the one person in, whether it be tech, whether it be business, whether it would be technology, smartphone technology, or whatever, to, if it came down to this one person, whether or not he could save the planet just by acting normal, would they do it? And he or she. And I've had a few really, really, really good candidates over the last couple of months. And I'm sure you have too. So if you happen to have any of those, also send me a tweet, send me an email, emailin@gmail.com, or send me a tweet at TechFiles, and maybe I'll read it live on the air and see what I think of it, you know. Also, we will be going into specific topics over the next few weeks. And some are going to be picked by me, and some are going to be picked by you, the audience. And I'm going to throw one at you right now. So when you buy a smartphone, whether it be through a carrier, whether it be directly through the OEM, whether it be through Amazon, whether it be through a third-party dealer, whether it be through Bob's ARM processors, or wherever, was it a phone that you liked? And was it a phone that was unlocked? Here's why I ask if it was a phone that was unlocked. If you get a phone that's unlocked, especially those from Google, good for you. If you get an iPhone, good for you. If you get an Android phone, from any of the carriers, you are going to have what's known as carrier bloat. At least that's the kind version for it. Some people call it bloatware, some of us call it crapware, or some of us call it names that I can't really put on the air unless I want to label this as explicit. So, if you have had an unlocked phone in the past, great. If you've had a locked phone with bloatware, here's another one for you. Why don't you name some applications for me that you wish was never on the phone? I can tell you a few right now. Here's one. Google has Google Maps. It's a free service. Apple has Apple Maps, which is also a free service. It works with the GPS antenna in your phone. It works with satellites in space. So here's where I call out Verizon. I'm so sorry, guys. What in the name of hell is Verizon doing? And I probably will never figure this out. Actually, I will. And I'll give you a theory here in just a second. What in the name of hell, Verizon, are you doing putting out an application called Verizon Maps and charging people $5 a month to use it? Why you're doing it is astounding. Although seeing it from the cell phone side, I can definitely understand it. And here's where that comes from. Phone companies used to make revenue directly off of phone sales. Phone companies used to make revenue directly on the services they offer. A lot of them no longer do. But the reason that Verizon has their own proprietary services, such as Go90, I wish they would go away, and Verizon Maps, is because it's basically what we call the angry god of ARPU. And before you're like, what? Let me explain. ARPU is basically average revenue per customer, more or less. And what it tells, carriers, it tells them how much you spend a month. And it tells the average revenue that they make off of you per sale. ARPU to Salesforce is the difference between making your goal for the month, and KPIs mean making your goal for the month. Any sales rep from a carrier listening to my voice knows exactly what I'm referring to, and to a certain extent, we have to promote it. Okay. Now, they're on the phone. You can't do anything with it unless you want to root it, and then you're going to void your warranty. But you can disable them. And you can disable them to the point where it doesn't even show up in the launcher or the app drawer or anywhere else. And it, believe it or not, Android's making it a whole lot easier for us to do that. Until, of course, you get to Samsung. With Samsung, you have to not only disable it, but the best way for that to be done is through package disablers, which are usually only available through Samsung or LG. But they are also available on a website called XDA Developers. So if you do have a phone with bloatware that you do not like, go to XDA Developers, look up your phone in specific, and see if there's a package disabler. Now, for those of us, and there are a few of us that are listening right now, that do not have any idea on how to do this, two things. You can go to someone that knows how to do it, or don't. Here's why. If you make a attempt to do it yourself, and you screw it up, you could very well risk breaking your phone. Now, for those, and we might as well just have a small little teaching seminar right now. For those that don't know what soft break and hard break mean. Soft breaking the phone means that you've screwed up a little bit, but if you know what you're doing, you can always do a factory reset or wipe. As long as you know your Google password, you can get in it and you can fix your phone. Samsung used to be world famous for you could screw it up big time. I mean, you could put wrong ROMs, you could put wrong modems, and you would still be able to fix it. Not anymore. If you attempt to do it now, you could do what's known as a hard break. Hard breaking the phone basically renders your $600, $700, $800, $900 phone into the world's most expensive and probably the most frustrating paperweight ever known to man. And then you're going to hear nothing but this coming from whoever does it. We're sorry. You should have known what you were doing. But I digress, because I actually was in that category a long, long time ago. I did not know what I was doing with the phone, and when I first started making modifications to my phone, I made the mistake of trying to fix my wife's phone in the same manner. That didn't work so well. So, anyway, guys, we're about ready to wrap this up here. But just to let you know, we are going on a full-scale launch Monday. The episode itself depending on demand, will either be laid down live or it will be pre-recorded like we've been doing the tests. If we do it live, I'll try to give you advance notice before we actually go live. That way, those of you who would like to participate can participate in the chat via Spreaker. If we do go pre-recorded, I will try to have more links up that you can reach me from. So, once again, if you would like to let me know what your daily driver is, or let me know if you've ever had a Twitter handle that you have regretted, or even general questions, we'll be more than happy to take them. Once again, my Twitter handle is TechFiles. That's TEKFILES. And my email for the moment is emodlin. That's EMODLIN @gmail.com. My name is Ed. You are listening to The Dose of Common Sense. Y'all have a wonderful Sunday. Those NASCAR fans out there, enjoy watching. Well, actually, no, you're at a track where you have left and right turns this weekend. Enjoy the race at Sonoma. Those of you who are interested in V8 supercars, I do believe there's a race tomorrow too, so I'm going to try to catch one of those. I'm more a V8 supercars fan than I am NASCAR. Sorry, NASCAR. Or I will probably be watching a movie or two, perhaps with my significant other, who is a Stargate SG-1 fan, and now that we have Hulu, she's decided to binge watch. But I digress. Guys, enjoy your Sunday. Likely as not, we're not going to be on the air on Sunday, but we are ready to do the full launch on Monday. I will give you more of those details as they become available. Thank you very much for coming along with me on this test run, and get ready for one hell of a journey. Thank you, guys. You all are the best. You have a wonderful Sunday, and we will talk to you more very soon.